guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. My name is Joker, and today we're going to be talking about China has decided to ban sissy men from television, and they're also trying to remove them from media. They're trying to remove them basically from society because they want to promote a more masculine man. I think they're kind of gearing up maybe for some strife, and they want to be a new dominant world power, and they're working towards those goals. So today we're going to talk about what they're doing and why probably we should follow suit. But unfortunately, we're actually going in the opposite direction, and I think we're gonna pay the price for it in a long time. So, is it time to ban sissy men from television? From ABC News, China bans men it sees as not masculine enough from TV. China's government has banned effeminate men on TV and told broadcasters to promote revolutionary culture, broadening a campaign to tighten control over businesses and society and enforce official morality. They say, let me zoom this up a little bit for you guys so you can see it a little bit better. Zoop. China's government banned effeminate men on TV and told broadcasters Thursday to promote revolutionary culture, broadening that's literally the same thing you said just above. Good job, ABC News. President Xi Jinping has called for a national revolution with tighter Communist Party control of business, education, culture, and religion. Companies and the public are under increasing pressure to align with its vision for a more powerful China and healthier society. What I think is interesting about this is the United States has gone all in on woke. It's gone all in on all the isms, and they've gone in on feminism, and they've gone in on, man bad. And the interesting thing about this is they've also gone all in on the alphabet crew, the rainbow flag, and gone in on all the pride and everything else. And since Hollywood's gone in on this, what's interesting is Hollywood's also kind of sold out to China. And so what I'm wondering is either A, will Hollywood back off? It's kind of going all woke and all in on the LGBTQ AAIP2 community, so they can sell things to China, or do they really in their heart of hearts, do they really feel that those groups are underrepresented and they're going to say no to Chinese money and they're going to still promote what they're promoting? More than likely, what they'll do is they'll film a movie where it can be edited two ways pretty easily. They'll promote it as, we're inclusive and strong and entitled and yay and all this stuff. Then they'll edit it, send it over to China, and the Chinese version will be nothing like the American version. So they're almost going to film two more movies, and then the American version is going to be all in on this woke stuff. That's going to be probably the direction they're going. The reason why this is important, though, is because it tells me, I'm not going to get into the politics side of things, but China definitely wants to be the world power. They don't want to be second hat to the United States, and they've been pushing very hard to kind of have the takeover of the United States. Well, in the fourth turning, and if you kind of go down many of these, usually that conflict between the first and second place power, it can a lot of times lead to hot conflict. And I think China's kind of saying, you know what, we're seeing what's happening in America, and we're seeing what's happening to a lot of men, and they're becoming weak, and they're not being powerful, they're not being masculine, they're being very effeminate, and we don't want to go down that direction. So we're going to change course, so we kind of correct that so we don't make the same mistakes. It'll be interesting to see if the United States, the United States isn't going to follow along, because let's face it, we're all in on the all these different themes that they've come up with recently. We're all in on that. But it'll be interesting to see if this actually goes somewhere for China, and if the United States will actually talk back and say, "Oh, this is bad that China's doing this," because it's kind of a conflict, because China, United States, or at least our corporations and our government are super friendly with China, and so it'll be interesting to see what comes out of that. They say the party has reduced children's access to online games and is trying to discourage what it sees as an unhealthy addiction to celebrities. Broadcasters must resolutely put an end to sissy men and other abnormal aesthetics, the National Radio and TV Administration said, using an insult slang term for effeminate men. That reflects official concern that the Chinese pop stars, influenced by sleek, fashionable look of some Southern Korean and Japanese singers and actors, are failing to encourage China's young men to be masculine enough. Broadcasters should avoid promoting vulgar internet celebrities and administration of wealth and celebrity, the regulator said. Instead, programs should vigorously promote excellent Chinese traditional culture, revolutionary culture, and advanced socialist culture. So basically, China's saying, hey, you know what? We're going to go back to our roots. Now, here in the United States, our roots are kind of based in Christianity and a little bit more of conservatism. We know that's not happening here, especially with everything that's happened in the news recently. There's the continuing march going left. So it'll be interesting to see if China, by cutting this out and pushing a more traditional socialist, but pushing a more traditional culture that is more masculine and more getting away from the revolutionary culture, it'll be interesting to see if this actually does go somewhere. More than likely, I think it will. I mean, we know the feminization of men is not a good thing, and it does create men that are weak and that they're not strong, they're not confident, they're not capable, because that's been branded as being toxic here in the United States. So, I have to actually say, for the first time, I think, ever in my life, I think this is kind of smart by the Chinese, because they see what's coming by looking at Western societies, and they're saying men are not men anymore, and the families are falling apart, and the economies are falling apart, and China's kind of saying, we need to head that off. They say it's launched an anti-monopoly data security and other enforcement actions at companies including games and social media provider Tencent Holding and e-commerce giant Alibaba Group, that the ruling party worries are too big and independent. Rules that took effect Wednesday limit anyone under 18 to 3 hours per week on online games and prohibit play on school days. Game developers already were required to submit new titles for government approval before they could get released. Officials have called on them to add nationalistic themes. The party is also tightening control over celebrities. Broadcasters should avoid performers who violate public order or have lost morality, the regulator said. Programs about children of celebrities are also banned. On Saturday, microblog platform Weibo Corporation suspended thousands of accounts for fan clubs and entertainment news. A popular actress, Xiao Wei, has disappeared from streaming platforms without explanation. Her name has been removed from credits of movies and TV programs. Thursday's order told broadcasters to limit pay for performers and to avoid contract terms that might help them evade taxes. Another actress, Zhang Zhuang, was fined 299 million yuan, or $46 million US dollars, last week on tax evasion charges and a warning to celebrities to be positive role models. So recently I've seen in the Chinese news that they're looking to curtail news celebrities and things on TV. They're looking to curtail the feminism in games. They're looking to do it, I think, in movies would obviously be next. So China is basically cutting a lot of the propaganda that's coming out of the United States off at the knees. And same thing that's coming out of South Korea and Western countries. What I'm really interested to see is the Hollywood and TV producers, are they going to pull back so they can continue to sell to the Chinese? I don't think so. Or more than likely, are they going to make it like a double version where they'll film a scene twice and then in editing, they'll edit it once for China? Because they're not going to give up those Chinese dollars, but they need to still push the woke agenda and that women are great and men bad and everything else. And the last article that I have here for you guys on YouTube, China promotes education drive to make boys more manly. And this is from this February, and it shows a picture of Chinese men playing in snow with no clothes on or just shorts. It says a notice from China's education ministry has caused a stir after it suggested young Chinese men had become too feminine. The message has been criticized as sexist by many online users, but some say China's male celebrities are partly to blame. And this, I'm just going to touch on this a little bit. This isn't all about, I'm not trying to brag on China and say, hey, they're awesome. But what they've done is they're noticing the problems that come from from effeminate men. And they're saying, hey, we got to stop this. And it's one of the things that we talk about here on this channel is, hey, we got to stop this here too. But nobody no one in the education systems, no one in the movies, no one on TV, everybody's is all in on men being in touch with their feelings and being soft and not being masculine and not being strong and not being stoic and not being smart. Like, we're all in on that. And for you, those of you that are sticking around, for those of you that are watching on locals.com, I've got more to talk about that after we wrap up here. So it says, last week, the Education Ministry issued a notice with a title that left no doubt about its ultimate goal. The proposal to prevent the feminization of male adolescents called on schools to fully reform their offerings on physical education and strengthen their recruitment of teachers. The text advised recruiting retired athletes and people from sporting backgrounds and vigorously develop particular sports like football with a view to cultivating students' masculinity. It is a decisive push in a country where the media does not really allow for anything other than squeaky clean, socially responsible stars. So this is like basically what I was just talking about. They're saying that's it. School, media, everything. We've got to make men men again. And again, I have to kind of agree with them, but that's not going to happen over here. They continue on a little bit further, and they're talking about some of the South Korean pop stars that basically, if their hair were longer, they would look like girls. They're wearing makeup. They kind of go on a little bit more about this, but the whole point is that China has definitely said, hey, we've got a problem with this. Now, how can the United States follow up with this? Well, you're not going to find it on TV anymore. We know this. You're not really going to find it much in the movies anymore. I mean, the new James Bond is going to be a woman. And James Bond tries to, seduce the new James Bond like he does with every other James Bond girl he's done since the series came out. And they say, oh, this is bad, and she's too smart for that. She tells him no. And, well, they've kind of trashed James Bond now. Where do you find masculinity? You got to find it in YouTube. You have to find it on side sites like my betterbachelor.locals.com, where we're talking about like bow hunting and different things. You have to find various other outlets other than the mainstream stuff, because mainstream is all in on this. And you have to read about stoicism, and you have to, it's now a search. It's just not right in front of you. Back in the day, like in my father's day, you didn't have social media and all that stuff. And the movies, men were men and women were women, period. End of statement. And that's it. And he got his masculine role model from his father, from his grandfather, from his uncles, from the family unit. Well, now we know that the family units are falling apart. We're having problems keeping the cohesive family unit together. And because of that, people are getting all their entertainment from online. And so now online is basically, people just take in everything that they're seeing on these social media sites, and they want to be popular, and they want to virtue signal, and they want to pretend like, yeah, me too, I'm all in on this stuff. And even if they disagree, you can't post it because a lot of times you'll be removed. Hence why my videos have been downgraded, and I used to get 300,000 or 400,000 views a video, and now I'm down to around 60,000 or 70,000 views a video. Hey, it happens. Like, this is what society's decided. They've decided they're going to promote certain channels and not others, and so now you have to do a little bit more digging. But it's not going to be easy, and that's the problem, is that men can very easily find weak, effeminate men and women being strong in the movies and TV, but it's becoming harder and harder to find masculine role models. You have to go back to the movies from at least the 90s earlier, and really 1950s, 60s, and 70s, when you go back to like Easy Rider and Dirty Harry and some of those other movies. It's going to take some work, and I think I actually have to say China has this one right. For those of you watching me on YouTube, guys, I'm going to clip it here. If you want to see the rest of the videos and dating profiles and part 2 of my video, because I'm actually going to extend this out a little bit, join me over on betterbachelor.locals.com, where you can become a supporter. You can become a member for free, and get the rest of my content. And we'll see you next episode.